All right, guys, we are getting ready to start our next unit, European Exploration and Settlement. And so this is kind of just an introduction to who was exploring first, and how did it kind of begin. So we had Portuguese exploration. So during the 15th century, Portugal, led by Prince Henry the Navigator, began to pay for sailors and explore the voyage around the coast of Africa. The leaders of Portugal wanted to find a new route for trade. So I want you to think about like the Silk Road. If you think of ancient civilizations from last year, the Silk Road was a huge trade route, and so they wanted to find new routes for that. Okay, but here were some of the reasons as well. So they wanted to find a direct sea route to India or Asia. So the Portuguese wanted to gain access to spices, pepper, cinnamon, nutmeg, olive, cloves more cheaply. And because they were essential for food preservation. And remember, think of the Silk Road, that was kind of the main trade route. And they wanted to find something different, the Portuguese did. A search for gold, of course, right? Always, you want to look for money. The Portuguese knew of African leaders like Mansa Musa, who were very, very rich, and they wanted to gain access to that wealth. And number three is capture and enslave African people. So African people could be traded for goods, and their labor was utilized in Europe. Um, while slavery was common in Africa, it was much different than the type of new slavery that would develop. Um, so that's kind of like the get go. The Portuguese explorers kind of just wanted to go and conquer. They weren't really concerned of being, um, they had an agenda, as you can see, and they were going to further that agenda. So the justification of doing those three things, because there were, like I said, they kind of just went in and conquered as they saw fit. So the justification is that the European governments who supported and carried out these conquests had many beliefs that caused them to justify the violent takeover of the land and the people and destruction of cultures. So there was a ton of destruction of cultures, which we'll look more in. So I want you to read the cartoon bubbles that explain the reasoning of those who supported the conquests that occurred during this era. So there are a lot of flaws in the reasoning, and why were they wrong? So our beliefs are superior. We're meant to murder for this land. And like this is really like they did. If groups of people don't want to change our beliefs, it just means that they're uncivilized. These two opinions, I think when I read them and when I think about them, really take me aback, but they were very kind of popular during that time. That was what the conquests were about, was wanting land, and it didn't matter who was on it, they were going to take it. And that many people, we hear Native Americans be called savages a lot or uncivilized, and that's why, because it was just different from what the European governments saw. So we have the first Portuguese explorers began to build stone fortresses along the western coast of Africa and establish trading stations. So here's Portugal, here's India. You want to think that the Silk Road happened up through here, right? And they wanted to come this way. Okay. The Portuguese men often married and traded with African women. The women were also traders and often had great wealth. They saw it as an opportunity to access new markets and goods. So Africa was a place of wealth. During the 15th century, it was a very steady country, and the Portuguese wanted a part of that. I want you to just kind of read through these three explorers. We have Bartholomew Dias, Vasco da Gama, and these were two of like I want you to look at their routes, right? So Diaz sailed here, Gama sailed to India this way, okay? And I want you to look and see kind of what their experience was. So these were kind of what they used. They had a caravel, a compass, and an astrolabe. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I apologize. So just read through these. And then I want you to write 2 sentences summary of the previous 4 slides. So make sure to use at least 4 of the following terms. So Portugal, caravel, compass, everything that you need. That's why you need to look through Bartholomew Dias, Vasco da Gama, Caravel, Compass, and Astrolabe. And all of that information I want you to include in your 2-sentence summary, which sounds kind of like not hard, but it is going to be a little tricky because I'm looking for each of these vocabulary words. Okay. And then, how did Portuguese explorers achieve their goal of establishing a trade route to India? So we're going to read through those slides and answer the question here. This should be a summary. I should have 4 to 5 sentences for number 3. And we're going to stop here for today. We'll continue on Spanish exploration tomorrow.